Hello and welcome back to Flag Football Update, home of your flag football team. Happy Easter this past weekend. Hopefully you guys were able to celebrate with your friends and family and do whatever you got to do. I know I got to go to some friend's house. Joining me as always is head coach Noah Mitchell. Noah, how was your Easter weekend?
It was good. Like I was kind of talking before this a little bit. My first time actually being away from my family for Easter and having to cook my own Easter meal. So didn't try to go too complicated. Just ham and some cheesy potatoes and green beans. So.
That's all you really need for
Easter. It was enough. Yeah, it was certainly enough.
All right, we had our games away this week at Mercyhurst, dropping both games unfortunately. First game 19-6, second game 20-12. What struggles did you see initially? Obviously, it's Easter weekend. There's going to be distractions.
Yeah.
We had some fans in the stadium, home and away fans.
Right.
But what was the biggest thing that you saw over the weekend?
I think there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of some of the struggles. I think it goes back to kind of what we talked about last week, is the offense is still just struggling, and I got to be better, and I got to try to find ways to put girls in better positions to create some productivity on offense. Like our defense has been playing some pretty solid football, and you look at those scores and you think, well, how is that? It's just we're putting them in bad situations offensively for our defense to try to stop a Mercyhurst offense that's rolling, right? Especially when they get good field position. So back in the lab today to try to get things fixed and get better this weekend.
All right, definitely. And then just even looking back towards those games, like we had discussed last week, they do a lot of motions. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of eye candy stuff.
Yeah.
Just on that, what did you see from the defensive perspective, just looking at that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, we were able to watch some film and kind of knew what they wanted to do, and I think they do a good job of creating a good bit of misdirection, like you said, with the motions, with influence in the rush and being there for a drop-off on a screen. So the whole week in practice, it was, hey, let's worry about doing our jobs, right? Mow your grass is what I kept telling them. Don't worry about mowing anyone else's, just mow yours, do your job, because someone else is there to take care of it. And I don't think we did a great job of that defensively, of just worrying about our job and what we had to do. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all back on me. I didn't do a good enough job of preparing them and getting them ready and staying locked in on their keys and their reads.
And then a big thing you can see in this game, field position. Field position plays a massive part of the game.
Yeah.
And just the amount of times the defense was set up in a terrible position is just, no matter how good of defense you put, if you're not creating space for your defense, it's not going to be great.
Yeah, right. I mean, throwing an interception on the first play, and then they start the ball at the 16-yard line or whatever it may be. Yeah, that's tough for a defense to recover from. But like you said, the field position battle was certainly a problem in their favor, right? They benefited from the field position battle a lot, and we just got to do a better job of moving the ball and trying to put our girls in the best situation for opportunities to move the ball.
Definitely. And looking to the second game, 20-12, a little bit more offense productive, a little bit more offense in that game. What were the biggest improvements you saw in that game?
Yeah, I think that we approached it with a better mindset, and maybe it was the 3-hour bus ride and kind of came out lackadaisical, but I think we came out with a little bit more energy the second game. Mitchell helped that out a lot. I mean, had a long touchdown run, which is obviously going to get a bunch of girls excited. I think we caught 2 interceptions in that second game, which started to give us a little bit of momentum, and we were in it towards the end. And then I think it just goes back to another interception that ended the drive that would have put us in a position to tie the game or potentially take a lead. So we just got to keep doing a better job in practice of putting them in the right position to make the right plays and teaching them reads and keys, and so we can get the outcomes that we strive for. Because my big message to the girls today is we can't live in the outcome driven mindset of things, right? We have to lock in on the process, right? And when we step on the field as an offense, we know what the goal is to score a touchdown. But what's that process of getting there? And it starts in practice, right? How detailed are we when running routes? How detailed are we when we're throwing passes and we're reading air, right? We have to create mental reps. Unfortunately, we just don't have the bodies to put out there and be able to give you a real live game scenario read, right? So we got to create mental reps. We got to be process driven and not so much focused on just the outcome.
All right, so definitely just a lot of trying to look forward within the games.
For sure.
Because I can even notice definitely on the sideline, just it's always about forgetting what just happened.
Yeah.
No matter good or bad, like you always say at the start of half, it's 0-0, no matter what time the game is at.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot to look forward to this next weekend within practice, and then even looking forward to our first home game this week.
Right.
And then we'll talk about that when we get back here on Flag Football Update.
Hi, I'm Gene Steratore, CBS Rules analyst and longtime sports official. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule. And the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media, and there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support.
Welcome back to Flag Football Update. We're getting ready to look forward to the first home game of the season at Adamson Stadium against Allegheny. Coach, you ready? Are you ready to be home?
I'm
ready
excited.
Not to be on the road?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I know the girls are excited. It's to go on the road for our first 3 contests. You know, to be able to adjust now to just waking up in your own bed, getting up to our stadium, being in our locker room, just creating some familiarity. I think it's going to be really, really good for the girls. Like I said, I'm excited for them. We're going to probably draw a decent crowd now that we're going to be local. Our fans have been great traveling on the road. So now just to help them out and not give them that far travel. I'm excited for the girls. I'm excited for the university and for what this program has coming forward now with our first home game.
I'm definitely excited too, especially I have some people that said they were going to pull up to the games and stuff. So I'm excited, and I work night shift, which means I actually can rest before we go to the games rather than going straight to the stadium.
Right.
But this week's a little bit different. Yes, being a home game, but we've also played this team already. We're facing Allegheny for the second time this season.
Yep.
How does playing a team and then twice a year go for you? Like, what's your mindset with that, and what's your message for the week?
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to being able to have some film study on them, some familiarity, knowing what worked well against them when we played them last time, and knowing what maybe didn't work so well. I think we practiced a lot against a one-high shell because that's what a lot of the teams did when we went down to Bethany and played against them. And Allegheny presented something a little bit different for us. So I think it's just now that we know kind of what we're going into, we know what worked for us, we know what didn't work for us, and we know kind of what they want to do offensively. They were a huge, hey, let's throw the ball for a bubble or a screen or whatever it may be, and hopefully the defense gets all sorts of depth and there's nobody there to pull a flag. And they got a girl who has a pretty decent arm as well, so the ball's going to be pushed downfield a little bit. We got to be ready for that. So, yeah, I think it just creates that familiarity part where we kind of know what to expect. We know what worked. We certainly have grown a lot since that first week, and I think that we know what we have to improve on.
I agree. I remember the jump between the games that first week was just huge because they're all we played 3 games that day.
Yep.
I believe that was our second game we played.
That was our third.
That was the first win.
That was
Man, I'm all messed up on
so
that.
long ago.
It was. But just the jump between the games that we had that day, you can just tell they were starting to figure it out, remembering their keys, their points, all their routes and everything.
Yeah.
Just figuring it out as we got farther down the day. And I feel like the team knowing that we've beat this team before, also gave them, hopefully, not like a little bit of lackadaisical, see to it, but realization that they've played this team and they know how to beat this team.
Yeah, I hopefully the girls play confidently, not in the sense that, hey, we've beat this team before, but just in the sense that we're getting better in what we know. We're continuing to grow each and every day. which I think, like I said, is going to bring some confidence. But the message to the girls this week is going to be just because we beat them, once does not mean we're going to beat them again. I thought Allegheny was a really, really good team. I thought they were really talented, and they had a chance at the end of the game to go put one on the board and beat us. So it's not a team that we need to look past at all. It's not a team I'm certainly not going to look past myself. I think that this needs to be the best week of preparation we've ever had, because, like I said, they're going to be a talented team that comes in here.
And as much as we know what they're doing, they know what we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
And even though we've done a couple different things since then, just our basis is usually the same.
Yeah.
And like you say, every week, pull flags, catch balls is the biggest thing we need to do.
Yep.
And I believe as long as we're able to do that, we have a decent chance of winning this week.
Yeah,
I don't want to be too confident, but
no, I think confidence is a good thing. Like I said, as long as it's you still have respect for your opponent, that's the most important thing.
all right. And then home game, message for the fans. I know we're going to have a decent crowd this week. So
Yeah.
what you got to say this week?
Hopefully it is a great crowd. No, definitely, come out. This is going to be a historic event for us, for the university, for our girls. They've been working their tail off, but I think just to be able to say, hey, I was a part of the first home game in Penn West, California, women's flag football history. I think it's going to be something really, really cool to say. If you've been to Vulcan events before, we don't just put it off like it's another event. This is going to be something that is going to be exciting to be at. You're going to get to see a new game, something that you might not be as familiar with. It's exciting. It's fast-paced. And it's football at the end of the day. So certainly come out, support. These girls deserve it. The university deserves it. So looking forward to that.
All right, that's all I really got for you guys. Be sure to be at the home game, 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock at Absent Stadium against Allegheny this week. And you guys have a good rest of your day.